are back with more of My Southern Home, and I'm here with Bob and Mimi, local homeowners. And thank you guys so much for having us, for being on the show with us.
It's our pleasure.
So Mimi, we're in this beautiful historic home. Tell me a little bit about the history.
Well, the land here was originally bought in 1891 by my great-grandparents. And then my aunt and uncle built this home in 1929. At one point, they decided to move closer to their only son and went to my grandparents and said, we would love, if you would like to buy it, to give it to your daughter, who was my mother. So I moved in here when I was 7. And I realize now I've lived here longer than any single person.
And Bob, you worked with the Kentucky Heritage Council to preserve different items in this home.
That's right.
So what are some of the things that the Kentucky Heritage Council helped you with?
Well, one of the things they helped us with some time ago was actually preserving the windows correctly. Windows are one of the big features of an old house, and it's important to do it right. And it's not impossible to do, but it's not easy. So we needed advice, and that's where we got it. Mm-hmm. But our most recent project was the restoration of this 1929 roof. And it's made out of tiles, Italian tiles, and they don't make those kinds of tiles anymore. So we had to find a place to do it. We had to find a craftsman who could put the roof on, and the Heritage Council was a big help in that whole process. The result I think, has been a wonderful success, and we owe much of that to the Heritage Council.
Well, it's so wonderful that there are organizations like this that are state-run that can really help preserve the history, because as you can appreciate, Mimi, being able to live in a home of your family all this time, it's just amazing.
It is.
That resource is here.
Well, it's a huge help, because if you want to preserve it for future generations, you don't even know who will be there. You just hope it'll always be preserved and appreciated. It's kind of scary if you're not a now I do work in the historic preservation field, which is part of how I knew all about the Heritage Council, but still these details like windows and roofs, it can be anxiety provoking if you don't have someplace to turn, and they just do a great job.
And Bob, they have great resources too to direct you to the right products and the right people that can help you do it correctly and to period.
That's right. That's right. They've I've worked on other tax credit projects, and in those they were extremely helpful in identifying craftsmen who could help. So they're a wonderful resource. I think that anybody that's interested in it, the first thing they need to do is try and get their house on the National Register if it's an old house, mm-hmm. because that's the key to the tax credit. If it's not on the National Register, either as an individually listed property or as part of a district, then you can't get the tax credit. But if it is, it's available, and it's a wonderful program.
Well, thank you guys so much for spending time with us today and inviting us to your home. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
For promoting preservation.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I love historic homes, so it's a treat for me to be here.
We do too.
We'll be back with more of My Southern Home in just a moment.